Hello and welcome back to another low-tech review. Seriously low-tech today. We don't even have lighting, but it's just, I'm a very busy boy. We are looking at Rintrah, Build-A-Figure from the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness wave. We're going to build Rintrah, and we're also going to examine the wave as a whole, decide which figures were the best, and which weren't as much of the best as the one that's the best. So, Rintrah's left and right legs. There they are. The camera will... There we go. His spare fist hands and 2 arms. His torso, which is hefty and mighty. And his floating head with his boss eyes. Let's get Mr. Boss Eye unpacked. And, well, unpacked. He's already unpacked. Let's fix him up and see what he looks like. Articulation and Celebrations. Rintrah has movement at the crotch and swivel at the thigh. He's got a singular knee joint on a swivel. That moves quite far actually. His calf, calf muscle swirls round. He's got a decent amount of back and forth and pivot in the hoofs. Waist articulation and torso articulation are the same. It's the robed character swirly joint. 1 movement at the shoulder, no swivel in the top of the arm. There's a swivel at the elbow that also opens up like that. And the hands have individual articulation at the wrists, which of course are quite handy considering he has open hands and spare fist hands for punching. Head is on a double bald peg, as is now the tradition, and allows for a decent range of movement. So let's take a little bit of a look at the details on Rintrah. Rintrah's got boss eyes. We noticed that when we unpackaged the head earlier on. From the side, no problem at all. From the front, oof, hilariously out of whack. The sculpting of the fur, not on the books. Come on now. The sculpting of the fur is very nice. It's consistent all over, right down to the backs of the hands where it thins out into more skin without fur. His wristbands are a nice little detail. That one's individually braided and that one's just a solid like leather strap. Belt's nice. Well, all the belts have been nice and like the Strange and Wong characters and everything. He has a tail, which does have a bit of articulation. It can move around or come out if you need to take it out for whatever reason, maybe on display or what have you. Like his earrings. It's a very photogenic figure. I haven't actually tried to have him stand up yet, because I do wonder what the balance is going to be like for Rintrah. Are his legs able to take his weight? Oh wow! Actually, okay, wow, I'll be honest, I was expecting, because of the way he's built, for the balance to be harder to find. But no, if you bow the legs in slightly... Holy shoot! Rintrah, okay! Is he worth getting the whole collection just for him? I'd say no. The character suffers from what a lot of characters do in recent MCU releases. I've now watched Thor: Love and Thunder, so spoilers there. Well, no spoilers in this video, but you got what I'm getting at. Rintrah is like Gore and the Guardians and Valkyrie, arguably, in that wave. Barely in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness at all. So unless you just really like a giant bull man, hey, maybe you're a furry and you just want to add one to your collection, then sure, pursue the rest of the wave. But I don't think Rintrah is the selling point for this wave. The selling point for this wave are individual figures. Let's have a look at the whole wave and see what were the highlights. Before we begin, a special shout out to Defender Strange, who was not part of the wave but a separate release. There he is over there with the portal, which I can't be arsed getting down because it's wrapped in lights in the display. He's fending off the children of Thanos, so he'll be fine. He'll be fine, totally fine. But now to Rintrah. There he is. Again, I don't think it's buying the wave for Rintrah. This isn't a this isn't sort of like a, you know, Sam Cap wings situation where it sort of is worth getting the whole wave just to complete his wings, or even an Eternals Gilgamesh situation where, like, you know, Gilgamesh fits beautifully in with the groups. It's worth getting the whole group to have him. Rintrah's not essential, but it's still a very visually cool figure. Out of the 6 figures that made up the wave, well, 7 figures that made up the wave, because obviously one wasn't a Build-A-Figure part. Least essential, surprisingly, Astral Projection Strange. I really like him. He's a great display piece, and especially when backlit, looks incredible. But unless you've already got a Doctor Strange, he's not the one you're going to be clamouring to get. You know what I mean? Still very cool, but not like at the top of the priorities list. Secondly, and I'm very surprised by this, because I thought they'd be higher, but I think it's more to do with accessories, I guess. America Chavez. Love Miss America, but she can't even do her signature punching her at the palm of her opposite hand pose that she's known for in the comics as like her go-to position, because she's got a single jointed elbow. It's a great sculpt. It's a decent likeness of Xochitl Gomez, but yeah, the jacket's great. The details on the jacket, like the badges and everything, you know, really, really cool. But just, you know, it's a tiny lady figure. Like with this Strange, probably more complementary as part of a wider collection, because like at least with your America Chavez, you could, you know, maybe like cross her over with sort of MJ and stuff and have optional bodies for the 2 characters, but not an essential, I'm afraid to say. Still nice, still cool, but maybe she'll get a much better figure when she has a bigger role in the movies going forwards. Fingers crossed. Next up is... Actually, we'll move them around. Next up for me in terms of whether it's worth it, 5th place, is Doctor Strange. This is the non-Build-A-Figure part character. It's a good Strange, good likeness. He's on a stand at the minute. Good Strange, good likeness. Bye-bye Astral Projection Strange. Good Strange, good likeness, but just like... There's a better one out there, and it came out just before this one. Woo. So the Spider-Man No Way Home Strange is still the better one for me in terms of sculpt, articulation. It just beats this one out. So I said beats it out, by the way, not beats it off. So like, for example, there he is. Like, he's cool, but he's just a little bit cooler. So yeah, still great, still a great Strange, but if you've not got one, recommended. Anywho, next up, he gets points for details, he gets points for likeness, but he loses some points for being mostly based on deleted scenes. Baron Mordo. Carl Mordo. It's great to have a Chiwetel Ejiofor in my collection, because I didn't have him from the first film. I do love his look in this movie. I think he looks phenomenal. His weapons and the details on like the individual, you know, bits of jewellery and costuming, like the cape there. And then look at the bracelet if the camera focus, like, incredible work. But he's weirdly based more on deleted scenes from the movie. It's not based on, like, from what we've learned. Go back and watch my Baron Mordo review to learn more, but weird! It's the Cull Obsidian Build-A-Figure stuff all over again. In 3rd place, ladies and gentlemen, is, and you are going to be so surprised by all this, I think. In 3rd place is Despair. Comic book villain Despair, because he's been sat on my desk since I filmed the review, and he is visually one of the most striking figures I own, even though for the most part he's just a blank Spider-Man, older Spider-Man articulated body with some detail on the cape and the hands and the head, but he cuts a hell of a silhouette, this guy. He looks amazing. Despair, way higher on the list than I was anticipating, no doubt than you were anticipating. So it's down to 2 figures, 1 movie figure, 1 comic book figure. Which one is the best for me? It is very, very close in all honesty, but in 2nd place is Wong. It's great to finally have an MCU Wong for the collection. It's great to have a Wong figure, to be honest. Love the detail, love the sword. The colour of his costume is popping, stands out like crazy. The likeness of Benedict Wong is brilliant, but suffers, unfortunately, from that new head sculpt defect of everybody having a head on top of a skinny neck. And, like, Benedict Wong is not a particularly scrawny man. So there's a bit of a bobblehead vibe going on here, and it just doesn't feel quite right. A thicker neck piece would have been better, or a head sculpt that wasn't frightened, sort of have a bit more of a jowl or whatever. But yeah, like, it's great to have him. The likeness is fantastic. He's an Eccles boy, so, you know, growing up in that area, I can't deny the power of some Benedict Wong. But second place, I cannot believe I'm about to say this. When I started collecting this wave, this was not the direction I thought this was going to go in, but here we are. My absolute favourite figure of the wave, and the one that, if you're a comic book fan, especially if you're a comic book fan of the 90s, I massively recommend picking up, is Sleepwalker. Because this dude, he cuts one hell of a shape. The definition of the paint on the face providing the shadow under the hood. Look at him under different lighting there, he's in the darkness. Half lit, fully open. He is surprisingly compelling as an action figure. And I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I would say that. But he just stands the hell out on the shelf. And having had a lot of them displayed for a couple months, and Despair and Sleepwalker have just been sitting on my desk since the review from I filmed it the other day. Like, I didn't in a million years think they would be the highlights for me, like among the highlights of the wave, but here we are. So, the Rintrah Doctor Strange 2 Build-A-Figure wave. Who is your favourite? Which one did you like the most? Have you watched all my reviews? Maybe give them all a watch. Help yourself out. Help you form an opinion if you haven't bought them. If you found any of these reviews useful, let me know down in the comments below. You could also like the video. Those are 2 ways to support me for free. But if you want to chuck some pennies in and get a specific toy reviewed, you could go to my Amazon wishlist, which is in the description, or my PayPal in the description. Leave a note as to what you're contributing towards or paying for. No obligation, obviously, but if you do choose to do that, you get a shout out in the video and help the toy reviews continue. This is, as of the recording, I'm recording this on July the... what day is it? July the 12th. This is, as of this recording, the last toy review I've got planned. So if there's any more after this, it's because there's been a change of plans. But if not, I'll see you guys soon for something else. Tatty bye!